Well, I was going to upload a video of another review of a video game, The Last of Us Part 2, but my old computer decided she was still a bit salty about the breakup. So now you're getting this. Anyways, hello everyone, Britton here, and today I'm going to be covering a book instead of doing The Last of Us Part 2 review, which sadly I'm probably going to have to wait a while before I do it again, because that took a lot out of me. But the book I'm covering today is The Last Wish from Andrzej Sapkowski. Yes, the first official book in the Witcher saga, and usually the one that people say you should read first. I really liked this book. I thought it was really good. A lot of people have told me about the Witcher for years. I actually started it by playing the video games, you know, like a lot of people probably have. And I've only played the third one. Well, actually, no. I've played the second and the third one. And I really enjoyed them both. Funnily, I played it backwards. I played the third one first, which is fantastic. Go play it. Second one I played, that was also a really fun game. And now I decided to check out the books, see what the books were all about, because it's pretty rare that a book series gets a video game adaptation. But The Witcher did, and I started out with this because everyone's like, if you want a feel of the world without, you know, getting just thrown at you, getting all this shit thrown at you in the first couple of books, just read the short stories. They'll give you a nice look without having to, you know, overly complicate things. But I do really like this book. I really do like a throwback. This definitely feels like a throwback to a lot of older authors, such as Robert E. Howard, Fritz Leiber, and even Michael Moorcock, who some people have said owes a significant debt. Sapkowski owes a significant debt to Moorcock for the series, and according to some, might have even stolen the character of Geralt from his major character, Elric of Melniboné. But that is not an argument I am going to debate about. I am just going to talk about what I thought of The Last Wish. And I really liked it. It's very good, very atmospheric, very dark, and it's often tragic. It's a really sad... It's often a sad book, but there's also these nice moments of dark humor that are placed within. Sapkowski has a very dry wit, if you will. He likes dry witticisms, if you will. The storytelling was often sharp and on point. I did have some issues with it at times, but a lot of them are really small. For example, the dialogue could be a little melodramatic at times, not in the way that's charming, like someone like, say, Robert E. Howard, but that didn't really detract from the stories themselves. I really enjoyed the going through these stories. I will say I watched the TV show first, so I got an idea of what these stories were about. And you know, what's funny is there's actually parts of the show I like more than the book. I know, blasphemy. But my favorite my favorite stories in this book are probably The Lesser Evil and A Grain of Truth, which is the Beauty and the Beast one. Basically, it's Beauty and the Beast. It's much more complicated in this book, but I really liked the complexity he managed to put in those stories. That it asks questions like, is this like in The Lesser Evil, it asks, is someone evil because they choose to, or are they evil because they are prophesized to? And also, if someone is prophesized to be evil, does just being rude to them and blackballing them give you the result anyway? Like, would being kind to them and being decent to them actually could have made the story better? But, you know, that's questions that this asks. And A Grain of Truth is just really sad. I'll admit, I do like the show's version more. Much more emotional, much more just a punch to the heart. And Tormund was freaking amazing. His name's Christopher Hivju. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Tormund from Game of Thrones, and he was fantastic in the role. He was charming and funny, but he's also tragic. And it's not so much in this. In this, he's kind of a dick, and he's like, oh yeah, I fucked some lady. Not gonna say that word. Had sexual contact with a lady non-consensually, and got struck with this form. And I like how Geralt just is like, all right. He's like, yeah, you got what you deserve. It's fine. And he's all like, yeah, pretty much. I'm fine with it. And it's just, I like how dry this book is. I really like dry humor, and I don't know if that was meant to be funny, but it's just, Geralt is just like, yeah, you deserved it. You know what you did. And he's just like, yeah, what can you do? But yeah, I really enjoyed, those were probably my favorite parts of the story. They managed to combine tragedy, pathos, and darkness in these stories that appeal to me personally, because I'm a sick fuck who likes dark shit. Oh, hello, kitty. But I really enjoyed this book. Now, not all the stories are bad. It's just many of them, they're all good. Like, none of the stories in this are bad. There's not a weak link in this book. But there's nothing really much else for me to say, but I really enjoyed all of these. Another thing I really liked about this book is how Sapkowski manages to combine these old fairy tales and folk stories and other legends to create a world of his own that doesn't feel too fantastical. It has that nice edge of whimsical and dark, which you find in a lot of other stories. That's the type of fantasy I really enjoy. I'll put it that way. That's my favorite type of fantasy. But yeah, there's not really much else for me to say. The Last Witch is a pretty good way to get into the Witcher, and is most people's recommendations on where to start first. I'm definitely going to read the other story collection, The Swords of Destiny, at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I'm not in really any hurry at the moment to read it. I'm a mood reader, so yeah, it's often not a priority in my life. Excuse me a minute. Oh, all right, I'm back. But yeah, Last Witch is really good. I really enjoyed myself, and yeah, I think it's really good. Go check it out. I bet you're wondering what I thought of the TV show and the games. As for the games, I am probably going to make my own review of that, because there's a lot to talk about there. But as for the show, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was actually pretty good. Like, it's a pretty solid adaptation of these stories. And to be honest, I actually saw the show first before I, dug in. And, no, it wasn't bad. It's a very good show. I think Henry Cavill is really good as Geralt. He has that stoicism. He basically just copied the guy from the Witcher games, which, is fine. And, the acting is very strong. My favorite episode, again, like I mentioned, the Grain of Truth one was my favorite, Season 2, Episode 1. Fantastic episode. Just so brutal. It's brutal, it's tragic, it's heartbreaking. It is just, go check it out. And the short story is very good too, but it's more dry, it's not as emotional, which is funny to say. That might get some people angry if I say I do like the show better, because it feels bad, It's like that gut punch you get at the end of Perdido Street Station, though. I'm not going to spoil what happens there. And I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end of Grain of Truth. But again, I love that episode. I think it was really good. Again, Christopher Hivju, or Tormund, was amazing. Also, the combination of CG and practical effects to make the beast look of him was just outstanding. Oh my god, just unbelievable. Probably the best episode of that series, I have to say. It was my favorite anyway, and I know a lot of other people really enjoyed it too. I also like The Lesser Evil, the Season 1, Episode 1. I will admit, Season 1 is the only season I watched. I didn't watch Season 2 because I really didn't feel like it. But I did like Season 1. It is a bit jumbled because it's an adaptation of short stories. that is kind of trying to get all of these stories to make sense, to be cohesive. That makes fucking sense. My favorite episode of that was probably the one with the homunculi. Not the homunculi. What was that name? I also really enjoyed the Lesser Evil one. Very good. One of those where the story and the story in this and the episode are about equal in quality. It's not like a grain of truth where, like, I felt that the TV show was more impactful in that way. It's more just like, oh yeah, I guess you got your comeuppance for being an asshole. Yeah, not really much else to say. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about the video game because I think that's a whole other review. But if you haven't played the video games, go play them. They're fantastic. But yeah, Last Wish from Andrzej Sapkowski is very good. A very strong introduction into the world of The Witcher, and I am very excited to get into more of this. Hopefully, it proves to be of interest. I do like the world, I like the story, and Sapkowski has a lot going for him, so hopefully he can do more good work, and there's not really much else for me to say on that. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it. Go check out my Twitter, my Goodreads, my Discord, if you want to talk to me, that is, and Letterboxd. I write stuff on there, I'm gonna have reviews are every Wednesday and Friday, so next Wednesday I should have a review up and going, and not really much else for me to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy St. Patrick's Day, which is when I'm recording this, and take care, everybody. Goodbye.